All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Spencer. And of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Nazir. That guy right there. Yep, he's a therapist. Don't know why, don't know how.
I'm a good one.
I just don't ask questions
The
anymore.
best.
Just like, cool.
The best.
All right. You look a little orange over there.
And they're going to pay for it.
So on this podcast, we talk about mental health, believe it or not. And we talk about movies and shows that and then we try to bring it all back around to mental health. We also try to make people laugh with all the funnies. Ha ha ha. Yep, just like that. And so don't take us too seriously.
Just have a stroke.
I wish. One day. Today, please. Today we are talking about Wakanda Forever. Specifically, a few scenes, both involving Namor. First one's going to be about when Namor comes back and I guess avenges, not really avenges. I guess he kind of just takes over.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Conquers before conquering.
Sure. I guess he conquers like one plantation. He's like, I did it. And then he goes back into the ocean.
Right.
Yeah. And then the next scene is going to be the last scene where Shuri and Namor are fighting, and she has a choice. Do I kill him or don't I?
Finish him.
Finish him. That was just Chadwick Boseman in heaven, just like, finish him.
Jesus.
R.I.P. Good. Yeah. R.I.P. Seriously. Great guy. But yeah, and we want to say, please subscribe to our page down below, right there. Hit his mic, but he did it. He did point down.
I did.
Yes. And also follow all of our pages. We want them to grow, so share them. Yes. Nazir, what are we going to be talking about today?
So you pretty much hit the nail on the head. So we're going to go with that. Yep. I found it. I wanted to shout out some folks that were leaving some comments on the YouTube and the Instagram the past couple of days. So some of the folks have been leaving messages like, hey, I really enjoy y'all. Podcast is great. Super calming. I assume they're talking about Spencer being the calming one. And then they said, you're super funny. I like the jokes. So I assumed I want to take the credit for that.
I don't know about that. All right.
Yep. Cool. So I just want to send appreciation to those comments. Those really mean a lot to us. And folks are getting really good information, mental health, and just having some fun vibing out. And like I said, podcast is for neurodivergent folks like us that we just want to talk, relate some stuff mental health wise, have some fun, and be like super nerdy, but also have like some legit moments where we're helping people. So much appreciation for all the comments. I see everyone. My boy, the real Slim Shady on there. Always appreciate you watching the pods and commenting. I see you, dog. And then, of course, everyone else on Instagram land and then following us and supporting us since day one. I appreciate all of you. And our few sponsors that donate to us monthly, much appreciated. We got a bunch of stuff coming up. Got some stuff that we're going on location for the summer trips. Much appreciated keeping that up. All right. Let's get into this clip. Let's check it out. And let's just appreciate Namor and his beauty, his essence. His nipple. His beauty, his essence, his nipples.
Do he have nipples?
I mean, I assume he got nipples.
I don't know.
Why are we talking about his nipples?
He got wings on his feet. I don't know. He might not have nipples.
I like them too. Fry them up. All right. Let's get to the scene.
Jesus Christ. No woof woof after that. No.
My mother gave birth to me there, and I became the firstborn son of Talocan. The plant gave me wings on my ankles and ears that pointed to the clouds. I was a mutant. I could swim in the sky and age slower, breathe the air our ancestors breathed. As she grew older, my mother mourned the life on land that she once knew. and die with a broken heart. She made me promise to bury her in the soil of her homeland. Nothing could prepare me for what I found there.
¿Quién es este niño? ¿Ah?
Hijo de Satanás.
Spanish man of faith cursed me as he died by my hand. He called me
Un niño sin amor.
El Niño Sin Amor. The child without love. And I took my name from there. Namor. Because I have no love for the surface world.
Why are you telling me all of this?
So that you can understand why I have to kill the scientist.
What if we took her to Wakanda? Let us go. I give you my word to remain in my country.
I cannot risk that, princess.
Then keep me instead. I'd love to see your nation.
Well, you can go down there in that. Hypothermia will grieve you almost instantaneously. Your blood will become toxic, and the pressure of the ocean will break every bone in your body. Or you can wear a suit. We have some of them. Come on. Stay close.
Daré mi vida entera por sacarte de las penumbras. Dame un poco más de tiempo, con mi último aliento yo lo daré para mostrarte cielo entero en las nubes. Contigo me recostaré y nos collaremos con la brisa y navegamos con el viento. Tiene la intensidad de tus ojos, quema más que el fuego y se refleja en vidrios rotos. Prometo que un día abrirá los ojos y apreciará los tonos más rojos que ofrece el cielo. Entre las sombras, mi amor, tú eres el mayor destello, cabello, cabello. Por eso es que mi amor me recuerdas tanto, cabello, cabello, cabello. Nos colgamos con la brisa y navegamos con el viento y nos colamos con la brisa y navegamos con
It's beautiful. It's made of vibranium.
Yes, in the depths of the ocean, I brought the sun to my people. I know you wished me to spare the life of the scientist, but now you see what I have to protect.
Vamos a estar, vamos a estar.
Wakanda forever!
Shuri? Show him who you are.
Yield. And Wakanda will protect your oceans. We will protect your secrets. Yield. And your people will live. Vengeance has consumed us. We cannot let it consume our people.
Baаш ka tuklik champal.
Hajtins ibang digkach. Batel tatsen. Tulagaling ko siya. Chanipal di tukul. Bisa soltal tutan ni Wakanda y lobo.
Los bush balamo. Haj jambach all al hukin si ken kaje. Baаш tenta tuklak mak tu betahi. Los bush balamo. Litiu paino mayik al winikil. Titulakal. Letah hayik al nohlumo. Yan yok kabilo. Bale minaan akmotan lopti. Beklak tune. Kuchay ko oti litiu kaknali loptalukan. Yetele noptantik betaha. Talokan beklae. Hajmukan chahan kahan. Mahesh tache. Lekaho janjo kabilo janubate ko Wakanda. Wakanda tune janukati kak anti. Oksak oldini.
And welcome back, everybody. First, subscribe to our page. He's pointing right down there. Yep, right there. Right there. Just do it. Subscribe. There you go. So just watched a few scenes from Wakanda Forever. Yes, Wakanda Forever. We saw, so for all those podcast listeners, Namor, he is, I guess, Mayan. We'll say Mayan. Yeah. So he's Mayan. And his village was ravaged by a plague. And so their, I guess, like medicine doctor, back in the day, grabbed this plant, and then they all drank from it while Namor's mother was pregnant with him, and they all were technically cured of their, like, the plague, but then they died, I guess, and then came back to life, but couldn't breathe air anymore, so they went to the ocean. And then once Namor was born, he was born with wings on his feet and ears that pointed to the clouds. So he had pointy ears. A big old thing. You know what I mean?
Da-da-da-da.
Slang in it. And then fast forward, and so in the movie, Riri Williams makes this machine that can detect vibranium, and so the U.S. government gets a hold of this, and then so they find vibranium in the ocean, and Namor and his people do not like that at all, so they kill all those people on this research base. That's why in the scene where he's just like, yeah, we have some suits that just had like dead carcasses in them. Like, don't worry about that. Just a few bones in there. It's fine.
Smells like cheese in here.
Nacho cheese. Interesting.
Nope, that's white people.
Oh, they do smell like cheese, don't they? Cheese and pasta.
It does. I smell like racism in here.
All right, moving on. And so, and then so kind of going back a little bit, Namor, his mom dies, and so he goes back to where they were first born, or where she was first born, her home, and he finds out that it's all this people enslaved by the I'm pretty sure the Spaniards at that point. And so so he just murders all of them, just him and his people just straight up murder them. And then he actually buries his mom. Same ritual that they bury the rest of their ancestors with, by putting like some, I don't know what it was that like gravel or something?
I don't know if it was a coin or a rock. It was something, yeah.
Something. And then that's where a man of faith says that he is a child with no love, and that's where his name comes from, Namor. So that's his origin story. Very interesting, very violent. Say that. Say a violent childhood.
Violent, dangerous, technically should have died, then lives, then avenges not necessarily his mother, but technically his mother, but his people. Because the plague only got there because of the folks that brought it from the Western world.
Right.
Or, maybe it was Eastern world because it was like Spain and all that. But it's from the new folks, colonizers. They brought in the plague. They brought in all these horrible diseases, kind of like what happened in America. Diseases wiped out millions of natives, millions upon millions, and then wiped out a lot of Aztecans and a lot of Latinas, right? A lot of Latinx folks, right? It was somewhat genocide. Some accidental, some on purpose. They spread the smallpox. So very valid story on history.
Sure. I don't know. I first want to get your take before we kind of get into therapizing and all that, and kind of like our takes on the scenes. I kind of want to get your take on how do you feel about, Namor as a character overall, especially since, he is a person of color and we don't really have a lot of Latinos in the Marvel universe. So I want to get your thoughts.
Super excited. Because, I knew he was in there, but obviously I didn't see it until literally 2 weeks ago. So, sorry. And then I see it. I'm like, oh, I thought he was a good guy. Oh, he's going to be a good guy. And he's a villain, and he's fighting the black people because of the white people. So that was interesting. It was because of the girl found him, and technically he's black, but still, it was worrying about all these other people coming for him.
And the government didn't even tell her that they were using it for that
Correct.
machine for that.
So love the character. I could watch a whole show just about him doing stuff in the water. He's a better version of Aquaman than me, or whatever the hell his name was. What's that big? Is it Aquaman? Yeah.
Yep. Aquaman.
At least this guy can actually act. The other guy's just sexy as hell. That's about it.
And then he's like, hey, I'm Aquaman.
I'm Aquaman.
I have long hair.
I've got long hair and some abs.
Great acting.
I know. Why it was good.
Just before we get to anything else, by the way, they said they did screen testing for the second Aquaman. Everybody hates it.
They said they walked out.
Yeah, it's so bad. It's
Jesus.
So bad.
He's not even. His good looks didn't even keep you there.
Yeah. But yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, no, like I said, I thought the character was pretty cool. I obviously didn't know about this character, so like you said, it's all in the comic books and all that stuff. The character itself has got some origins with
I think it's Atlantean.
Okay, that makes sense. But then also the plant, it's the same. It's a different version of the plant that gives the Black Panther his powers. It sounds like,
pretty much. Yeah.
Because that spurred their entire population, and they were drinking. It kind of looked like the same type of bluish, purplish. I thought that was cool. Yeah. I also thought of him as Nike. So the little winged god that would help out. That would help out Athena, the greatest Greek warrior princess.
Right.
Sorry, the greatest warrior technically ever. So Nike was this little winged human that would be around her, and and so that's where Nike gets its name from, one of the Greek folks, Greek mythology. So it's pretty cool. I thought about that because his little wing leggies.
Right.
So yeah, the character itself is pretty dope. Its backstory is interesting. I feel like it's pretty valid. I felt like he could have got even more screen time if we wanted to. He, to me, was a good villain or / anti-hero. The acting was good. It's a person of color that actually speaking in their tongue, and not just some white dude that sounds like Jim Bob or like a
True.
brown person. They're like, well, you're going to talk white for this role. What?
Huh?
That was cool.
Yeah.
The music
feel
was
that.
cool. The folks, the heritage, everything that's been in these last two Black Panther things are so culturally like appropriate and perfect. But it's awesome.
Yeah. Once again, shout out to Ludwig. That guy, amazing. And
Yes.
kind of keep on going along here after I got your thoughts. So then we skip to the second scene, right? Where Shuri is fighting Namor, and then she bests him, and she's about to kill him. Now, kind of a little bit of a backstory on that. She does recreate the herb that was all burnt down by Killmonger, and instead of seeing T'Challa or any of her ancestors, she actually sees Killmonger in the ancestral plane. And so, kind of going back to our last video, if you haven't checked it out already, please do. Black Panther, the first one.
Ancestral plane.
The ancestral plane. I did like the fact that they brought back Killmonger for that brief scene.
Me too.
I did too. So in the comic books, Killmonger does come back to life by like this witch doctor, which I'm kind of hoping they do that. I think now is probably the best time to do that, since Chadwick is gone, unfortunately. I think it'd be really cool to bring back Killmonger, because he would just add to even more conflict with Shuri.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be really cool. And then it'd be really cool to see him kind of just be like all sinister and in the background trying to take over stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
It would be.
But yeah, going back to the scene, Shuri has a choice to either kill Namor or let him live and stop the war between Wakandans and the
Tokans? I say Tokans.
Tokans. And she chooses to let him live because her mother is just like, show him who you are.
Do the right thing.
Do the right thing. Show him.
Got goosebumps.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wouldn't have did it. I would have murdered his ass right there.
Oh, sorry, Mom.
Sneezed. Dead.
Oh, sorry, Mom. I didn't. It was an accident.
Just miss him with the spear. Stab, stab.
You just hear Gesundheit from heaven. Like,
yeah.
But
yeah,
yeah. So I get why she didn't kill him. I get it. But at the same time, I mean, like they literally murdered so many Wakandans. Like there's so few left. There was such a big boat and they're all dead.
Yep.
And personally, I did like Wakanda Forever. I thought it was as good as you could get it, honestly, without Chadwick. And they paid a lot of respect to him, which I liked. I liked the moments of silence for him in the beginning and then kind of at the end as well.
Yep.
I thought those were great. So for the first scene, it's very interesting, right? It's like we finally get to see like a character that's just, I wonder how old he is, because he said that his aging process
centuries.
Yeah, so I wonder how old he was when he did that, because like you're seeing a child, but he's obviously matured a lot more, right?
Oh yeah.
So we see a child kill a person, yes, but at the same time he could be like 50 at that point. You never know. So it's kind of like you do see him as an anti-hero, but at the same time we also see him just being like a straight up villain, just murdering people who you could say deserved it. Maybe he was right. Maybe he was right in that circumstance,
protecting his brother. People. I mean, T'Chaka, what is his name? T'Chaka, the dad's name?
Yeah, T'Chaka.
Right. I mean, he killed his own brother. So
true. Fair enough. Can't really, And I thought he was right in that circumstance a little
Yeah,
bit.
so I mean, he's protecting his people, and he's like, hey, I got to do what I got to do. I got an entire population to protect. While a lot of
True.
other people have killed for less.
True. And I wonder if he let them like take some of that plant and then bring them to Atlanta, or not Atlantis, but whatever, Tulkun City. Or did he just like kind of let them go? I'd be interested if that was what happened. But anyways, what do you think about the first scene?
So the first scene, sorry, my jaw hurts. The first scene, I figured that me and you can go in a couple different directions.
Damn, motherfucker. Got a podcast going on, man.
Oh, that's a good one there, boy. I thought we could, obviously there's a bunch of oppression. And there's some slavery going on, there's some whipping going on, there's genocide going on through disease, through other things. And so there's a ton of trauma. Now it makes more sense why he killed those folks too, because he's a grown man in this child's body. Nah, it makes more sense. He said Namor, right? So without love. Well, he loves his people so much that he was willing to hurt these people on the surface to protect all the other ones. That way they wouldn't enslave more.
Right.
How could you therapize this scene? Well, I think that we could use it as a therapeutic tool to talk about freeing yourself. And maybe you got to kill some ants, we call it. Automatic negative thoughts. So you might have to, kill some ants. Right? You got to burn them, pour bleach on them, whatever you got to do to them, right? A little magnifying glass. I got you, motherfucker. I used to have some fun back in the day, boy.
Concerned.
Yeah, well, the funnest was the hairspray and a lighter, and it's a blowtorch.
Oh my
Baba Ganoush. But sometimes we are in our own hell. We are in an own imprisonment, our own shackles, our own chains. And so, like we talked about on one of the reels that's going to release for Black Panther, is like, I would rather, die a free man than live in these shackles and bondage. I'm not doing this. Like my ancestors, kill me, push me over, I'm a jump. And so this is one of those things where, what are you going to do? Many of my clients will come to my office in their own shackles, in their own prison of their own mind. It's not because they wanted to, but somehow they have found themselves in it. Doesn't matter how you got there. So it's my job to get you out of it. So we're going to do some cognitive behavioral therapy. We're going to change some thoughts. We're going to get you to use some different words. I'll be funny with you and laugh this and that. And we'll talk some shit, right? And I'll get you to say a bunch of stuff. And then in the next session, I'm going to change on you, and you'll no longer be able to use derogatory terms in my office to describe yourself. So when you say stupid, worthless, or this or that, I'll let you get away with it, but I'm going to look at you funny. And I'll ask you to quantify certain things that you say when you demean and where'd you hear that? Where'd you learn that from? Why are you using that term? I'll start to break apart some of the words, start you to slowly change some of the words to more positive. So I'm not trying to get you like, you feel like you're dog shit, to like, I'm the best. I'm like, maybe you just deserve to live. Maybe you deserve to, just not want to die.
Right.
Maybe you actually did okay. And then maybe you're actually pretty good at some shit, right? Every once in a while, my client be like, I did really good. I'm like, look at you. You son of a bitch, you did it. Today, there was a big fair that we put on for the counseling center, and I was out handing out pamphlets and all types of stuff and bandanas. And so students are terrified because I'm a huge human and I'm handing out stuff. And I seen a bunch of my clients out there, and they come walking up to me. Come on, one of them was so happy I got to see their partner that I've heard so much about in therapy. And I said, look at this boy here. It's a good boy. I can just tell. Very kind, very soft. I'm like, you staying with this boy. I like this boy. Yes. I was excited to see it. I was excited to see some of my clients who have some poor relationship issues, poor mental health issues, horrible anxiety and insecurities. We slowly build them back up to where there's healthy relationships. They're happy. They find a good partner that communicates. And then I see them and I see the partner and I said, this is a good person. Because I've been working with this person for 3 years now. And to see them with someone that I think is just like them with kindness, one of my favorite humans at this school, boy, I was happy as pigs and shit. Then I got to see one of my other humans, and then we talked about this and that. We talked about Ninja Turtles. She said, "You see the new trailer that dropped? Shit was fire." I was cracking up.
Can agree.
Why do I talk about these happy moments? Because the students used to be in their own prisons. And then with therapy, some of them medication, right, has helped them get out of that imprisonment. Sometimes it takes a while to get on the medication to tell people like, hey, you need it. We can do a lot of therapy, but eventually if things keep getting bad, and the anxiety keeps increasing, OCD keeps increasing, now you're in this obsessive loop. What are we going to do? We got to make a change. Spencer's seen it with people, your friends or homies or your partners, friends, like in their own shackles. They keep messing up their lives, messing up these bad relationships, accepting really shitty things, accepting like racist things that you've told me that the other people are saying. I'm like, why would you accept this? That's because you don't believe that you're worth more. Right. You don't believe that you deserve more, that life could actually be good. I make a lot of shitty jokes sometimes about myself, shout out to Usain Bolt. They're like one of our reels. Fastest man alive. I told one of the counselors there, I said, life doesn't get any better than this. Anytime that stroke wants to come, let it come. Yeah. And then they said, life gets better now. So I'm like, shit. I've peaked. So
all I'm thinking about now is just you sitting there, just like, just thinking it. And it's like, and then somebody's just like, what do you think he's thinking about? Usain Bolt, like in
our reel. Hey, that was the biggest name we've ever had. 12 million followers, fastest man in the world. Almost everyone knows who this human is.
True.
But life can get better. And I find myself sometimes, selling students on these fake hopes. It'll get better. Just wait. One day you'll be able to, think and buy things and live. And then they tell me about their siblings that are back home getting traumatized by their parents or by life or by bullies, by anxiety, by depression. They're in their own oppression, their own shackles. Maybe the system and society has put them in it too. And I said, I keep telling them, just wait till you get to college. You won't have to be around mom anymore. That's what they keep telling their sisters. And I said, you hate saying that, don't you? Said, yeah, because they're going to suffer for 2 more years. So now you know how it feels to me to talk to you. Because I know you're going to suffer in school for a couple more years before you get your big girl job. I seen that human today too. They were so happy. I told them to get some of the free food they had class. Oh, go fuck yourself. I'm joking. Oh my God. If they watch this, they're going to be like, you son of a bitch.
I knew I heard something.
Yeah. Well, she got too much ADHD to watch this shit. Shackles of our own oppression, bro. It's a thing. I don't get locked into the depressive one myself, but a lot of my students do. The anxious ones are the bad ones. The anxious thoughts, the ones that make me super nervous, the ones that cause me not to sleep for like 3 days last week when I was also like kind of sick. Right. There's some business stuff that was going on, and will it work out? I don't know. And then I got in trouble for some stuff. It was a weird couple days last week. Right. Shackles. We're all in our own shackles somewhere. Yeah, wouldn't mind to be shacked up with Namor looking at me, though. This was my heart when I seen him. I was like, oh
my gosh, wow, I love those tights.
Yeah. So that's kind of me therapizing that scene and how people could use it. And we can get into tons of different racism stuff. We can get tons of colonialism, colonizing, and all that. We can get into all that. But that's for a different time. We're sticking on more of the mental health thing. The racial topics, I feel like that would be a different discussion.
Yes, totally agree. So let's get into the second scene.
Let's do it.
Right. So Shuri, first in the movie, lost her brother. Right. Lost T'Chaka. Then right after that, lost her mom.
Jesus, that was a tough one.
That was really tough.
That was
a
tough.
bad one.
She's just floating on top of the water. That was tough.
I know. Yeah, just trying to revive her. Like, welp, she's not coming out of that. So she has been dealing with a lot of loss. Now I know mainly there's a lot about Namor, but I think that touching on the fact that she's just suffered so much loss, it's very tough to, try to act like you want to live or even care about living after that point, or anybody else's life, especially after she was murdered, right? By Namor. And so this whole vengeance thing, I think that's a really good topic for us to hit on, because now you could talk about just her having vengeance for one person or anybody else having vengeance for any person. Or you could kind of broaden that spectrum and go more about just hating society, right? Because it's just doesn't feel like it's fair, or it doesn't feel like, it's not in your direction society's going to. So I think that even though she is kind of having vengeance for Namor, I think she's also having a lot of conflict just overall with loss in general, because and just hating life, because just keeps on taking and taking from her instead of giving anything back. But luckily at the end she does get something back in a nephew.
Oh God, I cried in that one.
That was a good one.
And he was like the cutest, little speech impediment and all that, little big old lips. I know. I'm like, aren't you just the cutest little DuckTales looking motherfucker?
I'm King Chichusha. All right. Yes, you are.
God,
yes, you are.
You're so cute. I'm gonna put your little cheeks.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on the scene, Nazir?
Goosebumps for sure. Hard to breathe during this scene. There were some tears during the recall and the replays of all the people that she lost. Right. It was also me not wanting him to die, because I want him to live for his people, my people, Latin people, right? And so it was tough. I did not want him to die. I had a good feeling that he was not going to die, but then I was kind of confused when he got burned. I was like, so he's gonna die. And then thankfully the mom is like, you're better than this.
Yeah.
It's kind of how if I was like John Morant's dad or his coach or his mentors, like, you're better than this, you knucklehead. I don't know what you're doing or who you think you are, but you can't be flashing pistols in a club and hurting kids, and you're better than this.
Yeah, we do kind of have to touch on that, since, it's getting a lot of coverage and stuff. John Morant, basketball player for the Memphis Grizzlies, has just been caught up in a lot of controversy this couple months, going from threatening like a security guard at a mall to beating up a 17-year-old and flashing a gun, and then supposedly either him or one of his friends pointing a gun at a coach on the Pacers. And then also just waving a gun on his social media page, a live of like Instagram live
in a nightclub
in, I want to say it was Colorado. I think it was Colorado. I think that because that's what they're investigating.
And and 2 hours after the game versus Denver, where they lost, you're out at the nightclub and then with a pistol pointing it.
Right. And so we kind of go into this thing. We're going to now for this topic, it kind of goes into like just overly macho, maybe it's a cultural, maybe it's more of a cultural thing of him just trying to act tough, which is also, overly masculine and all that shit,
I would assume.
But at some point you really have to give up certain things in order to live a good life. And if you have $200 million and he is a father, you have to set examples, because you're in the spotlight. You have young kids looking at your lives all the time. It's very sad to see this, because he's such a talented person and doesn't seem like this is, in his character. It feels like he's, such a very bright young man. And just to see him kind of looking like he might lose everything, because he wants to have this image Just very sad.
of a thug, and you're not a thug, and your father had to have raised you better than that.
You
And life
think?
is about choices.
Right.
And Shuri made a choice based on her mother's essence, her life force, right?
Right.
Based on the man that T'Challa was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what are you doing? John Morant, what are you doing? And so you have a choice in that moment. Do you exact revenge and invoke the name of Killmonger and then have it torment you the rest of your life?
Right.
Or do you have this person seek justice or show them compassion, mercy
Mm-hmm.
for wanting to protect their people? And yes, they hurt your people, but also, right, there was some choices. Something could have been done. You know, things go sideways, but thankfully she didn't do it. And now we get to see the evolution of the story and how it plays out over the next few years. And we get to see Namor again and other shows, I would assume, and right, partnering up and doing things. Just for his people, man. What would his people have done?
Right.
And so intense scene because all the anger and vengeance and grief. So getting what suspense was and breaking this down, John Morant made some poor choices.
Yes.
Shuri actually had reasons to make the poor choices because of all. I don't know Josh shit though, but there's no reason to have him be doing the shit that he did. Really,
Yeah.
she wanted to exact revenge. She just lost everything.
True.
And so Spence said, you know, vengeance. Yeah, you know how angry you are and mad you are. There's no empathy when you're that angry. There's no empathy when you're going through that type of grief and you have someone to blame. It's not cancer or a deity, God that you pray to. Someone took their life. So you have a direct enemy now. And so that can mess with your mind, can mess with your want and will to live. And so if you have your life doesn't mean anything now. You just lost the last person that probably ever loved you and understood you. That's what she said. Your life is now meaningless. Now you can do whatever the hell you want because I got a one-way ticket to whatever, checking out. And so, shit, she's like, let's suit up.
Yeah.
I saw Killmonger. Okay, I thought she was going to tell Killmonger to piss off. Oh, no, go figure. She's like, I got this. I'm not my brother.
Thank you for the advice.
I was like, damn, there goes that machismo. You taking John Morant with you?
I know. Killmonger was just like, yeah, T'Challa was too soft.
Yeah.
You're like, damn, bro. Well, he killed your ass, so wasn't that soft.
Yeah. He's like, I like John Morant. I'm going to tag him in this so he can cancel us.
He's doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Keep on going.
Right. Did he shoot him though? And so, wow, my clients that deal with grief, it's intense. One of my kiddos told me that their dog just died at the fair, and I said, damn, man, that sucks. I know it sucks. Especially when you're neurodivergent, you get latched onto a lot of these things, these objects, these entities, these little beings.
Right.
So it's tough. But then imagine losing even more, filled with hate and vengeance. So how do you back off of that? You would have to hear the voices in your head, not delusional voices.
Right.
Voices of the people that you love guiding you, professors, mentors, loved ones, parents, moms, uncles, grandmas, aunties, your auntie. That's what you have to do. So I have humans that come to me, your therapist, all the time. Spence, we talked about in one of our last pods. I forgot which one it is, but the student was getting abused by their partner, right? Domestic assault type of stuff. I think we talked about it. And he said before he reacted and did anything out back to the partner, he said he heard my words in their head. Don't do anything. Pull back. Move on. Make the report. Live another day. Get divorced. You'll be fine. Students say that. You'd be so proud of me. I heard your voice in my head. I said, you keep hearing that shit. You better take the meds because I don't trust you. I'm joking, people. You keep hearing shit now. What was I eating though? And I think that's the thing with probably you and your moms. For me, it's for sure me and Pops that's in there. My mom's in there at times. She's more like murder him. I'm not gonna lie, bro.
Yeah.
No murder stuff, but some people messing with my students, and I might have brought this up to you. You know, I send her to these people
Oh, yeah.
Other professionals get help and this and that, and then they say, "Oh, you're not on the spectrum." I don't know what Nas is talking about. I'm like, holy shit, you just undid so much work that I just did with this human. And their mom's neurodivergent, and their brother's neurodivergent. There's been talks and dialogues. It's a genetic component. I've broken down their entire mind. I've worked with them for 9 hours now over the course of 2 semesters. You met them for 15 fucking minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And you've undone everything. They come back to me and they cry in my office because what you did. Boy, I'm telling you, I'm playing the long game. So as we get to Real 3, I'm playing the long game in a couple of these.
Right.
Because I can choose to check a couple of these people, but it's not going to go well.
Right.
Not going to go well because I can't hold my mud on this one. I'm going to end up shitting my brains out on this one because I was so mad.
I can't hold my mud.
Can't
I've
hold
never heard that say.
can't hold my mud on this one. I'm going to break some water, boy. My water going to break.
What is that?
Man, that's when you got diarrhea.
I know what it is. I've never heard that say. It's so stupid.
I can't hold my mud on this one.
Please don't ever say that while
I'm
you're
going to throw that
therapy.
bucket at
I can't hold my mud on this one. What? That's so stupid. I can't hold my shit on this.
Jesus Christ. I can't, boy. I tell you, man. I'm about to just be talking to him. I'll be mad as hell now. I'm going to just diaper.
Hey, man. Hey. I'm not going to hold my shit for this one.
Yeah.
I'm going to be serious, too.
Let it all out.
I just feel like, shut your ass up.
Choices, man. Choices. Long game. Made choices. I'm holding it. Holding it tight.
Oh, Jesus.
But we've all been there. We've talked about it. Anger management, right?
Yeah.
De-escalating, working through your stuff. She did good. She heard the voices that she needed to hear. And thankfully very quickly, because she could have murdered someone and then caused even more of an issue. Because all her people were getting ready to die on that damn boat. So if she wouldn't have did that, they're all dead and executed.
Yeah. And then previous scene, or a couple scenes before, Mbuku, who's like the big guy, he's telling her like killing him is not going to do anything.
Facts.
It's going to make things worse, because then now you're a murderer.
And that's not what your mom would want.
Yeah, that. And it's like murdering somebody is not going to A, bring them back, or B, make you feel better. It's just going to make your hole in your heart bigger. So yeah, shout out to Mbuku.
Mbaku, yep. I say this, that I would make the best choice, but who knows, because we're not in that situation. But when things like this ever come up to Pops,
yeah,
and he reads the news, and I tell him to stop reading the fucking news, man, it's too depressing. And he'd be like, this daughter got killed, or this person got in an accident, or this person, kidnapped this person. And he's like, I ain't gonna lie, you take my kid, I'm gonna kill you. He tells me that every time. I'm like, yeah, valid, Pops. You're also like old, disabled, But he's like, if you just took my only child, he's like, I'm going to hell and I'm going to jail for this because I'm going to take your life. And I said, Pop, you can't always do that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's many people that would fall under that. You hurt my kid, I'm gonna hurt you. Eye for an eye.
Yeah.
But eye for an eye leaves everyone blind.
Facts.
True.
Yeah.
It's a complicated thing.
It is.
Obviously, they made the right choice because all the rest of the people get to live.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe she's soft.
Maybe Killmonger is just like
fucked it up.
Damn, yeah.
Yeah, she could have went scorched earth and went full Vecna and just turned the world upside down.
True.
You know what? I think we can also relate this, instead of just anger, I think we can also relate this to suicidality. You think the world is ending. You think it'll never get better. You think that you'll be in that darkness for the rest of your life, and that the traumas of the world will just rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Man, there's no hope for those little things. Spence, you've always talked about it. What makes you happy? And you're like, dude, it's the little things. It's the little things. I don't even think about some of the big things. The big things, big goals are awesome, but the little things mean a lot. And that's one of the truest ways to find happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're in that depressive spiral, though, I have students that I wouldn't do it because I can't, the pain. or I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't want to hurt my parents. And I've never heard truer words from some folks I've been working with. I said I had a friend that committed suicide. And it devastated me to my core where I'm still fucked up when I talk about it. Happened 15 years ago. I still can't talk about it without breaking down. Never seen this person cry. Only seen him cry once in 2 years. And they choked up on him like, damn. And they said I would never do it. I'm so depressed all the time now. I'm alone. The context when I'm at in school, just it's a lot. And sometimes I don't want to exist, but I would never actually take my own life because I know it would devastate my 2 brothers and my parents. And he said, you know what? I'm glad I actually went through that. And listen to me now, folks. Don't get it twisted. But he said, technically, that they passed and took their own life. Now I know I would never do it. It's a weird way to contextualize it, but I know what the human meant at that point in time because they will never hurt anyone like that because they feel obligated and they're a caregiver, a provider.
Right.
And I feel like this scene is also you could make the choice to end it.
Right.
Or you can live to fight another day, another battle. You can play the long game in the next scene that we're going to get to. Because you're just one good person, one good doctor, one good counselor away from actually making significant change. I want to do one last thing. We'll get to the next clip.
Yeah.
I've had to drastically cut back my caseload. Drastically, because I was overbooked and then I got in trouble for it. And so, I got talking to. And the boss was like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? You're too many. I said, I cut 7 people via email the other day. So I'm trying.
Right.
And I met with my first client of the day and I was so angry that I had to cut them, but I couldn't because they actually do need me and they're still crying in my office. So I looked at the kid and I said, we'll cut you loose, or you tell me right now that you want to meet again because the once a month is good enough, better than nothing. They said, I want to meet again. I said, okay. I looked away. I was literally started tanking to cry because I was so angry that I'm in this position now because now I've lost all control.
Right.
They've shackled me now. For good reason. They've shackled me. And I was able to regulate, and then me and that student talked about me literally fucking having a little anger cry, but looking away. And they're like, damn. I said, yeah, I can have those too. Just as you do all the time and you're ashamed of it, I'm not shamed. This is how you can regulate quickly. And it was a good conversation. Fast forward. I'm having to work on how I work with clients and pumping them out a little bit quicker, making more work. And I was talking to one student that I've been working with, and they got the vibe that I was going to cut them loose, right? Because it's towards the end of the semester. And I said, I'm not cutting you loose. We're going to meet one more time, maybe twice if I can hustle it, but once more. Look at all the work you've done in 9 hours, 9 sessions. We said, well, a couple times we met for like 2 hours. I said, man, you fucking up the moment. God damn it. I did this too. I was all proud.
Did you?
Yeah. So I'm trying to make you cry. I said in 9 hours, we didn't change the entire life. Entire life has been changed. Better relationship with your sibling, with your mother. You got all this weird relationship. You figured out the sexuality. You're now figuring out and stabilizing and making friends. You're acting your authentic self. Look at all this really cool shit, man. She says, I'm glad I got you as a counselor, not anyone else. I said, homie, I'm glad I got you too. I appreciate you and I enjoy you as a human. You're just one good person away, man. To say that, you're also one rotten person away, but you're also one good person away from having a better life. Hey, you're one bad, really bad day away from being a complete fucking psychopath.
Better not mess with me on the bus. Swear to God.
I swear to God. Let me find one of them fucking spiders and I'm going Stranger Things on your ass.
Ooh. Apex Predator. Jesus.
I just want to talk about that. Some folks won't trust therapy. You need the right therapist, the right connection, the right bond. motivation, right? Some meds, but yeah, it can happen.
I think that it also shows that, you know, you're also willing to adapt as a therapist, which
Blech.
is, I know, it sucks because, you know, you want to spend as much time as you can with certain students because they need it. But
I just got an award
yeah.
from the school for the work
Mhm.
that I do, and then I was
Mhm.
told you got to cut back.
Also, I mean, let's be real. It's unfortunate, but you're probably doing too good of work, which
Correct.
is,
I do need to cut back. I get it. No, I fully agree with
No.
the things I was told to do. I agree with it. I just,
right.
it's
But at the same
incongruent.
time, you're doing it for a good reason. You're not, you know, doing anything stupid. So
No.
it's unfortunate, but you know what? You are adapting and you're changing how you do therapy, but in a, you know, more time constrained way.
Time constraint, way better way. One of my
Right.
students who I know people would judge for being neurodivergent probably would treat them very horribly and
Mhm.
probably very derogatory and maybe even kick them out of school. It's a good person. Good person.
Hmm.
You just got to understand them and not get scared.
Right.
They gave me some juice today at the fair. I was thirsty. They gave me some juice.
Oh, I thought you meant like juice, like hyped you up or some shit.
No, they gave me legit a juice. They said, "Here's this
Oh,
this Thai tea. It was really good."
yeah.
I said, "Ain't you the sweetest thing?" She said like 3 words and then left.
Here's your juice.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I said, I'm going to
Alright.
make sure I put everything in your file too. There's just in case any of these, back for a better word, white folk end up getting you, that they don't get scared.
I go, better word. What other
White
word
folk.
is there?
White folk.
Caucasians.
Yeah, I just making
The
sure, man. 'Cause,
Caucasoids.
you know, they treat us people of color different in therapy, man. You say one weird thing, I'm like, Jesus.
I just said I wanted to stab him. What?
Yeah, you talk about shooting JFK one time, you know. I'm joking,
I
people.
was in the conservatory. What?
Yeah, I was on the grass and no.
All right.
What was you doing? I was cutting grass. I'm Mexican. All right, let's keep it moving.
And yet we can't do Tropic Thunder. Get the fuck out of here. All right. All right. Moving on to the next scene. So our last scene is where Namor is talking to, like, I think it's like kind of his wife or something, or like his second command, something.
Yeah, second consigliere, second person in command. Yeah,
Something like that, right? And he's talking about how at some point the surface people are going to try to go at Wakanda, and Wakanda is going to need them in case, you know, the surface people actually do that. So, like you said, he's talking more about the long game, right? He's thinking about his next move and waiting it out instead of, you know, just trying to take over Wakanda, which probably could do, honestly, if he wanted to.
Yes.
And so this scene, it makes you be like, okay, he was kind of like, you thought he learned something, at the same time he's just thinking it all out, thinking his game plan, which he was doing the whole movie. Like,
Chess.
I think he kind of knew that, like, the Wakandans were not going to give up Riri Williams. I think he knew that. So yeah, I mean, I feel like we're going to see a lot. I think for the next Black Panther movie, we're going to see a lot more behind the scenes, like, kind of strategic moving around. I think a lot of the government's going to try and get them to act like, you know, like they're savages, for a lack of a better word, towards other people, and then that's when they're going to invade, because that's usually how it gets done.
That's what we do. We're weapons of mass destruction. We're going to go and invade and pillage.
Mm-hmm. Right.
What do they call it? Destabilization. They called it in the movie. We're going to destabilize Wakanda. I'm like, damn, yo, ain't right.
It's like, wow, they're just trying to live their lives with new technology and shit. Nope. But you just got to try to take it away.
Anytime I see any black people doing well, yeah, we're going to burn the shit down.
Well, you're doing too well.
Yeah.
AKA Oklahoma.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Black Wall Street. Yep.
When we went to the African American Museum in Washington, D.C.
Awesome.
Amazing museum. If you haven't checked that out, please do. It's amazing. But yeah, one of the big things there was the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre, where one day a bunch of white people came in and destroyed Black Wall Street.
Yep. That's
pretty much the gist of it. And so now we see Namor is kind of banking on the fact that is now like the governments and all that shit from the surface world are going to try and do the same thing and destroy Wakanda.
Yep.
It is. You know it is, man.
They already tried in the show, so.
Yeah. So.
And this lady that's running everything now, the lady from Seinfeld, she's the worst. She's the pits.
Yeah, so she's going to be in oh my gosh, what is it called? It was Thunderbolts. So she's taking over. So it's pretty much like a Suicide Squad, right? Okay. So it's all the villains, and like Bucky, he's going to be in there too.
Yep, I love me some Bucky.
Yeah, he's great. But so she's the head of the group for that. So she's Amanda Waller, essentially.
Okay. Oh, she's a turd. No one will be as terrifying as Amanda Waller, but she's pretty bad.
Amanda Waller is terrifying.
Well, Amanda Waller's legit psychopath. That happens to have credentials.
She's like, I'll murder you if you don't do this. I will legit murder you.
That's just her thing. She's like, I'm just going to murder you. I'm like, why doesn't anyone murder her first?
Yeah, I'm glad they knocked her out.
That was one of my favorite scenes when they knocked her out. I'm like, yes. Did I just climax? Why am I touching my nipples? Jeez. Finally, it's just like finally seeing someone terrible get hit in the head.
Been waiting for it.
Yes. It's like when anyone makes fun of me, I'm like, I hope you fall. I'm going to wait for it.
Jesus. Going up the stairs.
Just want to Big Daddy them and just throw a stick out in front of them.
I hope I better not catch your ass rollerblading. Let's stick out.
Banana peel.
But yeah, what did you think about the scene?
You hit everything right on the head. It was long game. Plain smart. Yeah. This is chess. This ain't checkers. This is about the survival of your people. This is about, you already know the future and what's coming. You've already seen the pillaging and the monsters of history. He knows the cycle of history. He understands this game. He's been around for a long time. He knows that they will come for you. Sure. And so he's comfortable. It's not a big deal to him. He's still living peaceful. They're our allies now. We are now the strongest population in the entire world. We're good. But his friend, his partner, wanted to die in battle, wanted to win in battle. They've been training as a warrior their entire life. This was their moment. Where Namor's like, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I'm going to have fun and I'll paint my finger paintings on the wall.
That looks good. Yeah.
That looks good. Is this ketchup?
What? It's kind of like it's like any of the Vikings and stuff like that. Old school Vikings, they used to just want to go to Valhalla and only want to die in battle. They didn't want to, they didn't want to live through battle because it was just, unless it was victory. Now, if you lost, you better have died in battle.
Dishonor.
Shameful. Yeah.
Also, like the old school Japanese back in the day in World War II, it was death before dishonor.
Yeah, that and and the old school samurais too. They used to do that too.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So she wanted to go out. She wanted to fight. She wanted to prove herself. I get it. But this is neither the time or place. Mm-hmm. So I wanted us to do this scene because it's like I told you before. It's the long game with some of these counselors that I'm dealing with, and me getting the doctor and navigating for autism and what it is, what's the symptomologies, how is it different with women, what is the less severity, can we get away from the disability aspect of autism and see it as a differing of abilities? Can we stop thinking it's low functioning, low IQs and thinking that it's just everyone, and then there's just some other things, OCD, anxiety, maybe there's a learning disability like some of us, like me and Colin. Maybe there's not. Maybe they're really, really intelligent. but we look everything with, it has to be an extreme. Well, they're not making eye contact. Well, they're kind of poor, actually, eye contact. You know, they just look at you a few times. They're not even looking at you. They're looking at your forehead.
Right.
But there's so many other things that they judge my students on extremes. And so this is the long game for me, is doing this autism work, awareness, doing the pod, spreading the good news of the good word of the newborn baby Jesus. I'm sorry.
Have you heard of Jesus today?
Yeah. Well, let me
Welcome.
tell you how he's autistic. So
I knew you were handing out different kind of pamphlets.
I'm going to get canceled for the last one for
Have
sure.
you heard the word?
Have you heard the word? Autism is among us. Have you heard of the rapture? Well, it's the same thing, just for autistic people.
It's the end is coming. So just take that. Take this pamphlet. Thank you.
Yeah, you're dating. I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah.
Laying the plane. And so it's about the long game, man. And sometimes you could see this as a loss, or you could see it as a different opportunity and a success.
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be W's. I'm not saying everyone gets a trophy, so calm down. Just saying.
Libtard.
Yeah. He's a progressive. Okay, calm down now. I'm just saying that you don't have to feel like shit after every loss. You can get better. Jesus. All right. So that's why I wanted that scene. So you don't have to live in that misery after one of those losses. You live to fight another day. The scene that's always in my head is from Friday. Right? With these. Yeah. You may take an ass whooping, but you live. You live to fight another day, and it's true.
Yeah. Shout out to John Witherspoon. That guy was amazing. Loved him.
He's not dead, is he?
Oh, yeah. He died a couple years ago.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. I know. Granddad. And me and Dom just watched Boomerang with Eddie Murphy and him. Favorite scene in the whole thing. He's just like, so Marcus, I heard you're pussy whipped.
Jesus.
Why don't you flip it? Instead of being pussy whipped, whip that pussy.
Oh my
bang,
God.
bang, bang, bang.
Yep. Yeah, he's a bug.
He was great. I loved him.
Yeah.
Loved him.
He was an old school dad back in the day for sure.
Yep.
Tries to be like intelligent. There you go.
If John Witherspoon found Jesus, he'd be my dad.
Oh my God.
Yeah, seriously.
Have you heard the news? Bang, 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 bang.
Bang, 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 bang. That's Jesus. That's Jesus in your brain.
Knocking at your door. He coming for you.
Bang, bang.
Well.
Yep.
I think we done.
I think we hit the wall there. I think we hit the wall.
We went right through the wall. Bang, bang.
All right. So with that, thank you everybody for watching. Like we said before, please subscribe down below. Click that like, share, follow button, all of the above. We're going to be having our website up soon.
Yes.
And then we're also going to have a merch site up soon. So you'll be able to get all the different spectrums merch that you want.
Hoodies, shirts, hats, stickers, LGBTQ related things, and right, we got all the colors.
Also might be doing some pants. We'll see. We only got tops right now.
Pants gonna say juicy on them.
Yep.
Why'd you agree to that?
Yep. That's right. Juicy. Got all this ass. All right. So thanks for watching again. I'm Spencer. That's Nazir. And this is the Different Spectrums Podcast.
Much love, people. Peace. See you soon.
I love you.
Jesus. Needy. Because I'll find you.